friends. This is Maria Pontes, an HR professional and a transformational coach. On our podcast today, I have with me Rishabh Sharma. Rishabh is an footballer by profession. He's completed his BCom from St. Andrews College. He's played for India League Under 18 Mumbai Football Club. Also played in clubs like PBFS, Companaras, Maharashtra District Football Association, Super Division from India Culture League. He is passionate also in listening to music, strumming his guitar, and a fitness conscious footballer. With this, I would like to invite Rishabh Sharma. Hi Rishabh.
Hi.
A very warm welcome to you on our podcast today. Thank you so
much for having me here.
Thank you so much for coming and making time. And I'm so happy to have you as a footballer here on this podcast. So Rishabh,
thank you so much.
Welcome.
Yes.
What is the spark that led you to, start playing football as a child, and at what age did you start?
Okay, so I started when I was in 7th standard. Okay, so it's a story. I'll start.
Yes.
So basically, one day I was out with my parents. Okay, we were just gone out for shopping, and I saw this red jersey. It was a Liverpool jersey, and I loved it. I asked my dad about it, so he declined. He told me that you know nothing about the sport. So I was quite upset. Actually at the first time. So I gave it a try. So I promised him that I'd show some interest.
Okay.
So after 10-15 times, I finally got the jersey, and I was very happy. And as I wanted to keep my promise, so I started knowing the sport. Instantly, the next day itself, I googled players, and I came to know that there was this match that was Real Madrid versus Barcelona. It was the biggest rivalry of football. In cricket, we have India versus Pakistan. That was El Clasico. So I saw the game and I was mind blown. I was so impressed with the sport. It had everything. It had goals, it had saves, it had mara-mari, it had everything. A game required. So I was so impressed that I started following football next day itself. And there was this player, Messi. I became mad fan of him because he scored a hat-trick against Real Madrid. Yeah, and he was just 19 years old. So that motivated me a lot. So that is how all started.
So, one jersey took you from where to where? Fantastic.
Yeah.
So tell me, Rishabh, since you were so young, you said class 7, right?
Yeah.
So, what were the challenges you faced? And what were your fears at that time? Because you were in school, a very young boy. How did you manage?
Yeah, I was. So my only problem in management was studies, of course. Because whenever I came in contact with football, so studies was the main challenge I had to deal with. As I became so much passionate about the sport, my mind and studies was certainly going down. And as you know, football is quite a physical game.
Yes.
And you have to run for 90 minutes. So I was getting tired, I was getting injured. At that time my mom was quite worried as I was getting a lot of injuries. I was hit here, I was hit there, everywhere. And football even made me skip n number of classes and my tuitions, everything. So that was one of my concerns. And at that point of time, I chose to be a professional football player. I had this thing in my mind.
Yes.
I want to be a professional footballer. So studies, I kept it as a backup plan. So that's how challenging it was. deal with studies. That even made me an average student. I was not quite good in the start, but since football started, I became focused about football only.
Great. And how did you handle these challenges and fears to your advantage? Because that is very important. What did you do with this? How did you take?
I had to do, yeah, I had to do a lot of thinking, a lot of homework, because I realized that I had to make a balance between football and studies, as I had to be good in both. It cannot be one way, because studies are also very important.
True.
Even football, as it was my passion. So I made sure that I gave equal time to both of it, because I was quite bad at accounts and maths. So I made sure that I stayed up all night and practiced the sums.
Wow.
And the same way, I made sure that I wake up early morning and go to my practice. So I had kept a balance in between both of those things.
Fantastic, Rishabh. I mean, hats off to you. Were your parents worried at any point of time, especially your mom, because seeing you, getting hurt and things like that, did it affect her in any way?
My mom, she's always been worried about it. My dad, he's been quite supportive. He's been like a pillow behind me. But my mom, she's always been a bit dicey.
Yeah,
She's
like all mothers.
Yeah, all particular moms. Yeah, simple.
Yes. So I want you to share, what were your moments of success like, when you achieved something both in football and your studies? What was it like?
So success was for me, success was excelling in both football and studies. So I'll just share a few things. So first of all, my football, it taught me never to give up. No matter what's the situation, you don't give up. Okay. So I started, like I said, I started practicing sums, and after a while, I became good at it. I didn't knew, but I scored 70% in 10th and 12th.
Wow.
I don't know how, but I did, because I worked for it. Even in football, I started assisting. I started scoring goals. We won a few tournaments. That gave me a morale boost. So that is how that was. That after, what do we call it? That result, after all your hard work, that little result, that was success for me.
Did you have any buddy or colleague, one or two colleagues, who would have been with you on this journey? Because a lot of us, we build that little connect, who we can share our fears, challenges, and failures that we encounter. Did you have somebody along with you?
Yeah, in football, I had this friend. His name is Melroy. He is also a professional football player. He plays in Chennai FC. That is an ISL team. He has quite a good platform. That guy, he's always been there for me. We have done a lot of beach practices, training sessions, gym sessions. We have done it together, and he's helped me a lot too in my career. He's been a very good friend.
Yeah, I've also seen whenever I've met your dad, Chandrakant Sharma, very often he would be pretty busy in terms of, Maria, I have to take Rishabh to this game, I have to take him from that game. And it used to be places like Bhiwandi and beyond, So I used to feel so amazed by his dedication to supporting you in your journey of football, despite his weekends and things like that. So, I mean, what would you like to say his contribution as your dad?
Like I said earlier, he's been a pillow. We have skipped a lot of vacations. He has skipped a lot of vacations since my football. Because I had my match, I had my practices. He has not been to places. So he has made a lot of sacrifices. When I started playing football, he has taken me to Borivali, Bhiwandi, like you said, Bhiwandi. We've been to Thane, that too by car. We used to start at early morning at 5 o'clock. He had just 2 days, weekends, to rest, because he works all week. So he had just 2 days to rest. But that too, he sacrificed, and he made sure that he spends time with me. So hats off to him.
Rishabh, that reminds me of an experience I had 2-3 years back. I was at a HR forum sports event at Vadala, Sports Gurukul, and one of the games that I never attempted to play was football.
Okay.
I was shit scared because
Oh,
fear of the ball falling on my face. But today, as I'm speaking to you, the way you have explained your journey is so inspiring that I would love to try and play football again. And I'm looking forward if we could do this once the lockdown is over.
sure, totally.
We could organize a game. At least I would love to play with you and your friends and have an
Me too.
experience of playing football, even if it means like you took a couple of bashes. I may also be well prepared to take some bashes, yeah. So I'm looking forward to this soon.
I'm sure you'll love it, and I'm totally in. Anytime you call, I'm in. Don't worry about that. We'll
Thank you so
surely
much.
meet soon and play.
Yeah. I have another question to ask you.
Sure.
What do you plan to do now, especially that you've completed your BCom and you are at an edge of deciding what is the career going forward? What are your plans with this respect? Where does football
Okay.
come into play?
Okay. So right now, I realized after so many experiences, I realized that studies are very important. Like, parents used to say earlier, studies are important.
True.
But, so the reason behind this is now I'll have to prioritize studying more. So my
Okay.
main focus would be on studying, but
Okay.
that doesn't mean I'll stop playing football. Like, I would never. Even
Yes.
whatever the reason, whatever the condition is, I would never, because that is totally a different feeling. Like, it makes me feel happy. Totally a different feeling. So
Absolutely.
right now, so in my vacations, I had been working at Decathlon Sports. I was a sales manager there
Okay.
for around 5 to 6 months. It was quite a good experience. So I realized sales and management was field of my interest, and I'm even pursuing the CET entrance exam, that is like
Wonderful.
LLB exam.
Good.
So I've got all things lined up. So I will, I have got few goals in my mind, but that doesn't mean I'll stop playing football.
Great. That's nice to hear from you, Rishabh, that you're really focused. You have clarity as to how you're going to take your life ahead. And that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. And I have a last question for you. What is your message to the youth of this world? And what is it that you would like to tell them from the experiences that you've come a long way?
Okay, so first of all, I'm no grown man to to be called youth. Even I'm a part of a youth. So
Yeah.
I'd just call them my friends. So I'd just like to share this thing to my friends that first of all, just find out what you're good at and what you're passionate about. Okay, if you find it down, just write it down somewhere. And after that, you work hard for it. You make sure that you give it your all and all the time, because then there are so many people having similar dreams which you have, and if you want to be the best, you have to work hard for it. So many people. So just don't give up. I have few experience I would like to share. So even when I started playing football, I had quite failures and fears. So first of all, I was appointed as a striker in the team, and the main aim of striker was scoring goals. Okay, so I was not able to fulfill my job. I was goalless in my first 15-20 matches. So that demotivated me a lot. And even further, even when I played in new teams, I realized that I was being ignored by the coaches and the players. So that demotivated me a lot. as I was not given the start, because it's quite obvious, because like if you're a newbie, you fit in the squad, it's quite odd. So I made sure I figure out something regarding that. I did a lot of practices. I hung out with my friends. I built a good friendship, a good amount of trust, and I figured it out. This is the you have to do a lot of thinking and you shouldn't give up. So my message, how would I conclude it? Don't give up if you're passionate about anything.
Great, Rishabh. You've been so inspiring, not only to me, but to my audience, who, I mean, really would see the way you've taken both your passion and your studies along the way, and so much of learning from you. Thank you so much for coming on our podcast today, and all the very best. We'll be in touch with you. Okay?
That was my pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
And thanks to your mom and dad.
In touch.
Yes.
Yeah. Our match is pending for sure.
Definitely. We'll do that.
Yeah.